Well, the good news is we now have a Nether star, which is amazing. And, of course, we have a wither head that we've earned as opposed to actually got out of a lucky box. But the bad news is we did actually die during that, as you can probably tell by my levels. Only once, but I didn't put it in the bit at the start because it didn't really fit with the whole epicness, you know? So yes, I did die once, but it's fine. At least we got our Nether star, which means we've got our beacon, because we've got a lot of stuff we need to gather before we can actually start on the build up the top. And this is everything we need. Well, not everything. We also need to do lots of villager trading. But we need lots of resources, and I figured a lot of this stuff is going to be easier to gather with a beacon. Because, of course, we're on Bedrock, we can also use the beacon to harvest wood faster, as well as, of course, stone and all the other normal things. So before we get to the meat of this episode, which is going to be building a furnace array of some sorts, probably in that big gap over there, we're going to go gather lots and lots of resources. It's a Friday night, after all, and I've got lots of podcasts and YouTube videos to catch up on. Well, I've had an absolutely lovely evening doing lots of resource gathering. We've got so much stuff. We've got terracotta, we've got sand, we've got red sand, look, all these different things. What's even in that one? Diorite and clay and andesite, grass, so many things. But I do need to sort all this out. The boxes that are completely full, though, they should be easy enough because I can just put them in the chest already sorted. And the mixed ones like this I can dump into the sorting system. So let's chuck these on here, and we'll let that stuff sort itself out. So while I was doing all that resource grinding, as I said, I was catching up on my, podcasts and YouTube videos and all those kind of things. Great for while you're grinding. But while doing so, I discovered a little something.
Okay, so I managed to get myself a whole bunch of oak logs. I just need some spruce logs now, and then we're all set. One thing I don't really want to do, though, is make a big mess making pods all everywhere. Yeah, I don't really want pods all over my base now that I've got it all looking nice and neat. So I think I'm going to sneak off towards where Mr. Beardstone lives and do some spruce growing, some growing of trees over here. He'll never know. It's fine. Shh, don't tell him.
And that will not stand. So let's take some of this. We'll take some of these. I mean, just look. What a mess. I need some podzol, so I'm going to dig that up. But that's not the point. But if Foxy wants spruce so much, he can have some spruce. Look, there's a whole area right there. He could have... Oh, he's such a cheeky little fox, that one. But if he wants spruce, let's give him some spruce. Perfect. And I'll just collect myself a little bit of podzol. That's just over 4 stacks. That wasn't bad. But one more thing we need to do before we get started is to head back to the Nether, because we've sold out on a bunch of the golden carrots and we need to restock. So let's get all these in here. And it looks like we need a few stacks of fireworks as well. All sorted. What's that? Arrows needed. Please gimme. Thanks. Arrows, you say? Yeah, I think it's safe to say we've got some spare arrows. I'm going to pretend that hasn't just taken me half an hour, but there's 39 boxes of arrows there. Well, actually, there's 38 boxes and 26 stacks because... well, that's just how I roll. But who'd have thought it? We've actually had a use for the arrows we've saved from our mob farm, which is a first, I believe. I don't think we've ever actually been able to make use of them. Although it does occur to me that the top of these barrels may well be spawnable areas. I wonder. We can add some trapdoors here and there, and maybe a couple of fireplaces, and this should make all this non-spawnable. We don't want stuff in the Nether hub after all. Brilliant. Job done. What am I supposed to be doing today? I've been getting so distracted. Oh yes, we were going to build a smelter of some kind. So I think I want to put something in here. We probably want about... oh, I don't know, 32 furnaces I think will probably be enough. We don't need a massive smelter, we just need one that's gonna cook stuff quicker than one smelter. But at the moment, I don't really know how I'm going to do this. I wonder. Maybe we should do some maths. We could make little units of like 8 or 4 furnaces and so on, and then maybe link them all together with a rail cart that goes round and just make it look quite cool. I don't really care about efficiency, you know me. So I guess as usual, what I'll probably do is just grab some stuff, start placing some blocks, and see how we go. That plan does seem to have worked so far in here after all. I've been placing some blocks. I've made a tiny little platform here, which is basically just going to be our loading and unloading area, and I think I've got an idea on how I want this to work. So my plan is to hang separate modules down, and we're probably going to end up with 4 of them, I'd imagine. Sort of a module here, a couple at the back, and one on this side, and then I'm going to kind of link them all together with minecars. So when the system's running, we'll get lots of movement and so on. It will be a case of many, many chunk borders being gone across, however. So yeah, it's going to be a furnace, which is fine, as long as I'm standing here when I use it, because otherwise we might end up with missing minecarts. But they're not going to be the hardest things to replace, because they're all going to start from here anyway, and I've just made a hole in the floor. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is work out where these pods are going to go, what they're going to look like. We're probably going to have pods of 4, pods of 6 maybe, pods of 8, I don't really know. We're going to get in as many furnaces as we can, but it's probably not going to be absolutely loads. I'm aiming for 32, but we'll see what we can get. So I guess I'm going to go over here, make our first little module and see how we get on. So I think that kind of size there will work for the first module. That's going to hold 6 furnaces. And my thinking is we're going to have rail on... No, probably not there. We're going to have rail coming through here on this level. And then we'll have a furnace on this level. We'll have hoppers in the back for the fuel, and then we'll have hoppers in the top for the other stuff, and a rail that goes across the top, and a rail that goes across the back. So we're going to have 3 rails coming in on each side, and going out on each other side. And that should be okay. We'll just have to then link them all together via some funky track connections, but I think this is going to work. So instead of setting up this module properly and testing it, what I'm going to do is actually just mark out where the other 3, maybe 4 modules are going to go. We're going to see how many we can fit in and sort of mark out where all the tracks can go and so on, and try and work out the technical side of this before we actually get everything else in. I think I've worked out roughly where stuff wants to go, but we've still got more to do. So we've got a pod over here, here, and here, and together we have 24 furnaces. And I think that might be about it, because if we get another one in here, I think the time for the minecart to actually get round and drop everything off and then come back and so on might be too long, because we've got lots of track in between the different pods. So I don't think adding any additional furnaces is actually going to speed it up. It's probably actually just going to end up wasting fuel. And I've also started marking out where the tracks are going to go. So this is going to be the actual sort of drop-off point for anything that's been cooked. We're going to have a minecart unloader here. So I've put in the track for that one. That does actually go all the way round. It goes underneath where all the furnaces are going to go, and then it will bounce back and come all the way back again. Then it will sit here, unload. Once it's empty, it will shoot off again, and so on. And that's how this one's going to work. And now I need to work out how we're going to do the other ones and the loaders and so on. So when we come back, I guess we can fully expect to see a whole bunch of track and things all over the place. And by track, I mean it's actually probably just going to be slabs at this stage. But I expect it to look a bit more spaghetti messy. Well, it looks a little bit messy at the moment, but I think I've worked out where all the tracks are going to go. They shouldn't bump into each other. The chests should go around fine. The hopper shouldn't drag stuff out of the chests. I think I've worked it all out. But I guess there's only one way to find out, really, and that's going to involve getting the furnaces in properly, replacing these bits of track with hoppers, and so on. So, where to begin? I think getting the track in at the bottom here, the one that's actually going to be collecting the items, is going to be wise to do first. Because once that's in, I can just place the furnaces exactly where they need to be, and then work out all the hoppers. We are going to need a lot of hoppers. So let's go make lots of track, and we'll grab a bunch of furnaces as well, and get these started, I guess. Oh, God, fingers crossed this is going to work. So we'll get some rail down, power a few bits here and there, add some furnaces, and test it to see if a minecart makes it all the way around or not. Looks good. Oh, and it's off again. Right, let's unpal this for now. So we know the first track works. It does actually make it all the way around. We will be putting a minecart unloader in there in future, but for now, I want to get the rest of the rails in. So, time to add some hoppers. So it looks like I need a bunch more hoppers, but already with the 2 tracks that are in, at least on this section here, you can sort of see how it's going to look quite busy with all the minecarts going around. So it should look very cool, but yeah, lots more hoppers required, and a lot more rail as well. Second rail is in, and hopefully this cart makes it all the way around just fine as well. Yep, looks like it. Let's hope it makes it all the way back too. Okay, perfect. Right, now we're just going to sort out the last one here. And hopefully this will be the 3rd one. Oh, well, kind of misjudged that a bit, I suppose. So I think from a functionality point of view, we're actually ready to go now. And this minecart here, I've actually got it so it's on a loop. It drops down. It looks a bit bouncy sometimes. I guess that's something to do with the server, but it does do a loop all the way around. And that's the one that's actually loading up our furnaces. And the hope is that that's going to be able to now get around quick enough to keep everything fully loaded the whole time. Guess we should probably put it through a little test run. So let's turn all these off for now. Let's go grab ourselves a little bit of fuel and something to cook. So this one wants to have kelp in it, although to be honest, it doesn't want to be a hopper minecart. These ones actually want to be chest minecarts, don't they? So the fuel one wants to be a chest minecart, and of course the one with the stuff we want to cook, which for now I guess we'll just do some glass because I have plenty of sand. and that one's obviously just going to be collecting things up as it goes in. So let's fire these off and see what we get. Okay, we've got furnaces lighting up. So any that haven't lit up have probably just got stuff stuck in the front of them. So let's see. Yep, that one's got rail. That one has rail, and that one has rail. And I imagine the others that are broken are also going to have rail. Let's quickly go clear them out. And the minecart just dropped down. Okay, well, everything seems to be working apart from that furnace over there, which I can just about reach from here. Okay, so that was actually not getting any fuel. So right, okay, I'm powering the hopper there via that redstone torch. So let's quickly go and adjust that. Okay, that seems to have solved the problem, potentially. So I guess as we haven't made the minecart unloader yet, we'll just turn that one off and see how it's doing. We'll get these turned off as well. But it does look like they're all cooking up nicely, which is good. All the fuel's been dropped off. We've got 3 stacks of glass, some sand and that in there. So where's it getting the sand from? That's interesting. So I'm just going to check the rail and make sure there's nowhere where the hopper minecart goes directly underneath this rail here, because obviously that's the one we put the sand in, and I'm a little bit concerned that maybe it's actually grabbing it directly out of the chest on a crossover somewhere. So I'm going to follow this track all the way round and we'll see what we find. So it could actually be this point right here, because technically if that's there, could that maybe grab stuff from on there? So I think I'm just going to do another test. We'll set these off again and see what happens. And hopefully this won't have any sand in it this time. Okay, no sand. Let's set it off again. Still no sand? I guess maybe it's okay. Well, it doesn't seem to be picking up any more sand, so I don't really know. I think I'm just going to crack on. If it picks up a couple of random items here and there, that's fine, as long as it looks nice and kind of works, right? So I guess the question now is, how do we make it look nice? But I kind of want the minecarts to still be visible when they're going round, but I don't want the furnaces to look like they're floating. So I wonder if maybe we can just use oak trapdoors, because then we're still going to see the movement behind, but we're going to cover it up a bit and make it look a bit nicer. And we can do the same at the top here, and maybe we can just put something as simple as spruce trapdoors over the hoppers. That actually works surprisingly. I've just fallen off. Ow. But what I was going to say is that actually works surprisingly well, and I think once we add some leaves, we sort of attach everything else to it as well. That's going to blend in nicely. Well, the furnaces are looking quite good. Now I need to figure out what to do with the rail. Well, actually, before I do that, I should probably sort out this platform, and the first thing is to actually put a minecart unloader in here. So my hope is that we can keep this quite simple, but let's see what we can do. So if we have a drop-off chest there, we'll make sure that that is powered, and we'll have that, I guess. Why is that not connecting? Okay, that was weird. In fact, I'm going to power that as well just to make sure it can definitely get up there. So now we need to do some redstone-y stuff. If we put a block there, get a comparator on top going into another block with a block above the comparator and a redstone dust there. No, we need to reverse the signals. So we're going to need a torch on that one, and then another block, and then a redstone. Yeah, there we go. Right, so when there's nothing on there. Okay, right, let's hopefully that should work. If we have stuff going through here, that's going to deactivate the rail and then power it again. Okay, this might work. Let's just power that bit, and let's get ourselves a hopper minecart. Chuck that on there and let it do its thing. So hopefully, I mean, I don't even know if there's anything for it to pick up. I think we've already done that. We might need to set off the other minecarts again. But if it does pick anything up, it should hopefully stop, unload, and then move on. It didn't have anything in it. Not a problem. Let's just send around some sand again, get some more stuff cooking up. So hopefully this time, maybe it's going to drop some stuff off. Oh, it's working. And set off again when you're done. Oh, look at that. Perfect. We've made a minecart unloader. So now we just need to actually make it look nice. It's a bit of a mess really right now, isn't it? Let's be honest. Now we know the system works, we just need to make it look nicer, design up this platform, and then do everything else. But I think getting this bit done first is going to make more sense. A short while later, and I've built up the platform. We have our drop-off area here, which looks much tidier and nicer. We have our fuel drop-off area, and of course, we have where we load up what we're going to cook. And it's time to send this off because, as you can see, I've also made all the other bits look nice, and I'm really pleased with how this has come out. It looks very cool when it's working, it does its thing. It's just a bit of a shame about the server lag every now and then that makes the minecarts a little bit jibby, but it works. I can't complain whatsoever. Although I have no idea why that trapdoor's open. Let's go get rid of that. But I've also created a platform at the top here, so when it's actually working, you can stand up here, you can watch all the minecarts going around and doing their thing, And to be honest, I just really like being able to see it all. Having it open instead of hidden behind walls just makes the whole thing look a lot cooler, in my opinion. And if we jump down the bottom here, we can see it is all offloading absolutely perfectly, and you can see I've been doing lots of testing as well. But we're not getting random things coming through that shouldn't be anymore, which is good. We're not getting any of the uncooked stuff. We're not getting any random bits of sand or uncooked copper or anything like that. So we appear to have solved that problem, and I'm pretty sure it was actually the bit over there. But with a bit of jiggery and pokery, we seem to have got that all looking good as well. But that's another construction complete in the cave down here, and we've only got a few things left, I think, that we actually need to put here. So we're making some very good progress. But I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. That's all we've got time for today, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.